Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to F1 2020. This is MyTeam Principal. It's episode number 10. We have 9 days until our next Grand Prix weekend. We're going to take a title sponsor venue opening. We're going to visit the sponsor headquarters to go with it. So we're going to spend about a week there. And then we're going to give some reaction training to our teammate Calderon, plus 4 awareness. Keep her out of incidents. Almost 6 million able to be spent. Definitely some options that come with that. But I think the next area, I want Calderon to be effective as a driver. So what's it going to take to make that happen? Pace would be an obvious one, but that's 6 million. 4 million for racecraft and awareness is certainly good. And their experience. Go and take the fitness center. It's going to be a pretty good boost. 2 upgrades on the way. Nothing in the engine department at the moment. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. We have 1 major upgrade to each area that is coming supposedly before we start the next race. We do have enough points to get started immediately on our next upgrade. We could take another major DRS for just 1,300 points. I think that's a good direction to go. Even with standard development, it looks like it's going to be done in between this race and the next. New ICE into the car. Calderon finishes 17th, so pretty consistent now between about 15th and 17th place for Calderon, and that's certainly what I was hoping for before the end of this season. Meanwhile, Juju Noda just misses a podium finish by taking 4th place, beating Sebastian Vettel, who started 2nd. Max Verstappen was on pole for Renault, only manages to finish 8th place. This was the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hamilton and Bottas both with penalties in this one. Lots of them. Looks like probably the same amount of penalties, as Bottas probably dropped about 10 spots down the grid order. Hamilton, though, from 13th, takes the race victory by 12 seconds. So really strong showing from the Mercedes, not just to win this race, but to come through the field and win it pretty comfortably for a 25% race. Juju Noda, all the way in 4th place, though, is another solid result. I think that might be our 2nd best result we've had in our career. We stay 8th place, but we pull away from Sergio Perez, who had certainly gotten much closer to us and actually all the way to equal on points last race weekend. Russell moves into 10th place in the Drivers' Championship. No change in the Constructors, though we are now just 5 points shy of Racing Point. As we head to the mid-season break, the gap from Williams to Alpha is pretty close to the same as the gap from Alpha all the way up to Ferrari. Technically, it is a bit larger, actually, so Williams isn't that far off the back. But the gap to Ferrari and Mercedes is also about that same distance, so it's very, very tightly packed from 2nd best to 10th best team on the grid, and we have moved all the way up to 3rd best overall with our recent upgrades. Tire wear upgrade necessary to continue trying to make up ground in the chassis department. You can see we're actually not at the bottom anymore outside of the cellar besides Williams, as we have finally moved ahead of Alpha and Haas, and battling it out with quite a few other teams, though there are clearly 4 teams with a much stronger chassis than everybody else. But 2nd place in the Aero, and once again 2nd place in the powertrain, is going to give us a real advantage going forward. Speaking of powertrain, there actually are some upgrades. 7 7 points away on the major fuel efficiency. I'm going to actually wait for that. Coming out of the season break, it looks like it's going to take quite a while to finish this off, but we are going to take our major fuel efficiency upgrade.
Exciting Formula One action soon.
Finally, Mercedes fails to win a race, but they still take second and third. Bottas from pole slips to third here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's Daniel Ricciardo in the Ferrari back to winning ways, both for the Ferrari team and for Ricciardo, who I believe last won in a Red Bull. The Renault of Verstappen takes fifth. Noda all the way from last to sixth place in this one is another strong result for her. Sainz takes seventh. Perez eighth. Albon and Kvyat rounding out the points. Kvyat from 14th to get in there for AlphaTauri. Is that their first points of the season? I don't think so. I think they might have had some, but I do believe it's been their first points in a while at least. Calderon in the mix in 17th, or at least in the mix with the back of the grid, but certainly not the very back. Sainz moves ahead of Russell, back ahead that is. No change in the standings, but Hamilton closes the gap a little bit to Bottas, now just 57 points behind. And with my continued progress, my lead driver anyway, we are just 1 point behind Racing Point. So we have caught and eclipsed McLaren, and now we've caught Racing Point as well. We're half the points that Renault has, so I don't think we're going anywhere there, but it'd be nice if we can squeeze our way up into 5th place in the standings this season. AlphaTauri, that is their 11th point of the year. Charles Leclerc scoring just one for Alfa Romeo this season, and otherwise Haas and Williams now the only teams yet to score this season. It's been a while since I've done a front downforce upgrade to the car, but we have a chance here to go top of the aerodynamics with this new turning vane. It's going to use all of the R&D points that we have right now, and it's going to take a couple race weekends to finish, which means all of our active upgrades are going to take at least a couple weeks, so the car's not going anywhere in the short term. Other than our chassis upgrade, it's going to be a little bit sooner, I think. When is that coming? Just as I catch Racing Point in the standings, both drivers failed to score this race weekend, with Stroll in 11th, Perez in 12th, and I claim another solid points-paying finish in 5th place. Vettel from pole slips to 4th, but Ferrari split Mercedes this weekend, so for the second weekend in a row, the Ferrari has been actually competitive with that top team. But it's Bottas, not Hamilton, who again claims victory. And again, from outside row 1, where he's been most of the season, very typical Bottas-esque finish in this one. Start second, have the fastest lap, win the race. Been doing it all season long. Leclerc 6th, so Alfa Romeo, wow, they go from 1 point to 9 on the season in one fell swoop. Verstappen just 7th today, but it's still good as far as the Renault goes. Sainz, Ocon also in the points, and Calderon is 16th. No change in the standings other than Leclerc's meteoric rise from a single point up to 14th position. And we move ahead of Racing Point, already 9 points clear of them, and not ridiculously far behind the Renault, but this late in the season, I think our only threat is Racing Point behind us. And honestly, I think unless you get another crazy race by Leclerc, I don't foresee any changes in the constructors this late in the season. Race simulations, another boost, and another boost. We're really trying to help Calderon up. We have 4 days left. The driver reclaim with cash looks pretty good at this point. let's go ahead and take that. Does leave 1 day left open, but that's okay. 9.5 million, not enough yet to do what I'm planning. And so we head back in here where we have nothing going on in chassis anymore, as we did finish our tire wear upgrade, which is nice. But with 930 points, looks like we could instantly get some weight reduction. And just like that, by the way, our chassis jumps from just a few weeks ago, right above Williams, to now middle of the pack. So our one weakness isn't so weak anymore. Bottas wins again, this time actually, from a different place, from pole. And meanwhile, my second career podium goes to Juju Noda, who finishes 3rd place, up from last in Singapore, where passing is much more difficult. But of course, one thing we've seen in the past is a front runner, like say Charles Leclerc, who runs at a steady tempo, backing all the cars up behind them and allowing pit stop strategies to reign supreme. And then somebody like Antonio Giovinazzi staying out longer because of how backed up the field was and leading a few laps for the first time in their career. And probably only time in their career is my prediction. Allowing somebody from the back of the grid to run those additional laps hard, fast, and hopefully in some open air before taking their pit stop could be that difference point that gets you onto a podium. Maybe. Just saying. Vettel takes 4th, Ricciardo 5th, Perez back into 6th. Strong finish for the Racing Point. Leclerc does it again, finishing 8th place here for Alfa Romeo, earning another 4 points. And just one Red Bull Racing car in the points is Alexander Albon. Just 9th place for him. Verstappen, not in the points today. It's George Russell for Renault. Very backwards race from what we're used to seeing. And Tatiana Calderon, I think, with her highest career finish yet, taking 14th, qualifying 15th. Verstappen only finishing 16th. Is this that early pit stop, right? Norris, Verstappen go backwards after starting on the soft compound and having to then pit much sooner and get caught behind a lot of traffic? Could be. Still 8th place, have been there a long time. Just 11 points behind Verstappen now. Got a real shot of getting ahead for best of the rest. It's possible. Might happen. And Alfa Romeo, on Charles Leclerc's efforts alone, now have 13 points, moving into 8th place. When I thought the Constructors was just about wrapped up, well, technically it is. Mercedes 300 points ahead. Officially it's wrapped up, but I'm at the 10 positions, or 11 positions, being locked in. Hamilton is exactly 100 points ahead of Ricciardo, but 76 behind his teammate Valtteri Bottas. Just so strange to me that he is that far back. Hard to pass up on 20% morale that only takes 1 day to happen, and to every department, plus 400 driver acclaim while we're at it, on just a 2-day fill. We couldn't have dreamed in that in a 2-week period before. We got it on back-to-back weekends here. Massively behind everybody else in the durability department, and every other department having one major upgrade on the way. Plenty of points to spend. I'm not going to spend much on durability, but we might as well spend a little bit every once in a while. So we'll take our 3rd upgrade in the durability area. Just a handful of races left to go in the year, so I'm finally going to take another event gearbox, and we're all set for the Russian Grand Prix. Another rule change coming. We'll find out next episode where that's going to occur, because this is the last race weekend for this episode. We're heading to Sochi. Another win for Bottas, and a second in a row from pole. Ricciardo again splitting the Mercedes Verstappen all the way up in 4th place ahead of Vettel, where I claimed 6th place then. Perez, Leclerc again in the points, Russell and Stroll rounding out the points. Calderon, back-to-back 14th place finishes, starting to look pretty competitive. And we're going to take a look at just how competitive she is. So we're going to take a brief look at the driver market just to see where everyone is at this point. Racers do evolve, they do change, not just the one that you control. Hamilton's still a 95 though, best of everyone. Vettel down to an 88, so he has slipped a little bit. I believe he was a 90 or a 91 or 89, something like that. Bottas is a 90, Verstappen a 91, Ricciardo's a 90, Leclerc is an 88, Perez 87, Sainz 84, Norris, Albon, Kvyat all 82s, along with Ocon, who has jumped from the high 70s, Stroll an 80, Russell is an 80 now, he was in the 70s before, Magnussen at 79, Gasly 80, Grosjean is 79, Giovinazzi, free agent, but a 74. Latifi, a 73. De Vries, a 75. Solid young racer right there. Matsushita is a 69 now. Calderon is a 68 currently. And getting some bonuses from the team. Her experience coming and going, it seems to be dropping off. But then it rises up race by race. I'm not sure why the bonuses kind of come and go, but she has definitely grown. You can definitely see she's now in the mix with the back markers, at least in terms of driver quality. So as we build her ability, she should consistently start finishing even higher than she is and maybe start scoring some points. But she's definitely reaching that point, at least, where she's now competitive. Aitken still better at a 71. Hubert and King are equal. And then here's all the F2 drivers. Now, she was worse than Bashang and Mazepin, I think, when we took her. So she was high 50s or thereabouts. And then we're good with him. The meme of every joke. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.